Got a few eyeballs in here. See what we got today. Retta Chemi, hello. Good to see you again. It's a Sunday where I'm at, and it is a little windy. Little snow fell in the mountain last night too, so there you go. Things are getting to be a little interesting weather this week. Good to see you again. Let's go. Roll in the house. Good to see you. Tell me where you're at. Tell me where you guys are at. I think Retta is in, I want to say India, but I could be completely wrong. And where are you at? Hopefully I pronounced it right. Rolla. Yeah. Ross Clark in the house across the pond. This is a topic that I've been contemplating for a while. Most girls I've broken up with are involved in a new relationship within days and weeks, and they jump to an orbiter. Yeah, we'll talk about that, Ross. I knew you're in Scotland. Aztec Camera. Jesus and the Mary Chain. Trash Can Sinatras. Great bands from Scotland. So yeah, I mean, the reality is this. Women move on really quickly. There's two reasons why they move. Let me give you my reasoning. If you're in a long-term relationship or a marriage, and all of a sudden she, a week after she breaks up with you, Uber mentioned the house, good to see you. She breaks up with you and she's moved on. A week later, she could care less about you. And remember, she's been planning that for a long time, okay? Ecuador, good. That's great. What part of Ecuador? Guayaquil. What's the other place? Quito. So the reality is this. So they have been thinking about moving on for a long time. In fact, they have game plans, especially in long-term relationship and marriages. That's why they can move on. The man is left in the dust. He's hurting. How could she do that to me? Why would she do that to me? I gave her everything. I gave her 20 years. Mine did the same thing. How could she just move on? It's because, number one, she's been thinking about that for a hell of a long time. She has been putting together a plan. and she figured out that she took a lot of time. Now, this is what they do, especially in marriages. They plan the escape to the new guy months, if not years in advance. Jason Sparatos, Portland in the house. How's P-Town? That's, I went to I grew up in Beaverton. Used to skate 23rd, Northwest 23rd, and Burnside all the time. Love my Portland, but man, it's crazy out there, I hear. Victor's in the house. That's the same for older women and young girls. Yes, and so they have been thinking about moving on for so long that it's just a natural step in their progression, okay? So if you were in a relationship and you were hurt because she moved on to the next guy very quickly, it is not your fault. It is just the reality of what happens. Yes, it hurts. Men handle it completely different. Emery's in the house. The second thing is women are emotional. Remember, the only moment that counts is right now. It does not matter what happened yesterday, 2 years ago, or 10 minutes from now. It's right now in the moment. Their brains are emotional, so they only can operate in a momentary, moment-by-moment situation. So when guys say, hey, I gave her everything. I took her on fancy vacations. I had wonderful dinners and excursions and activities. I bought her jewelry. I helped fix her car. I helped take care of her ailing mother. I helped her move houses. Is there an emotional bank account? No, there is no such thing as an emotional bank account. For men, there is, right? Maintain frames in the house. Good to see you, brother. we have an emotional bank account. We believe, because we're investors, we like to invest, build, and create. And so when we do things, we hold on to those things that we've done for them. And we also hold on to the things that they've done for us, right? We do have emotional bank accounts. And that is why it's so difficult when she moves on, because we kind of go back to that well of, look what we did for each other. And men specifically dwell in that. They dwell in what they built. Women could care less. Sure, she might enjoy and remember certain things, but she doesn't operate in the same way that we operate. That is why they move on very quickly. Cyberzoni nailing it in the house tonight. The breakup divorce is planned ahead of time. Yes, it is. Remember, women are very smart, okay? They know exactly their game. They know exactly how to move on. They plan things, believe it or not. But their emotions are their guidance system, okay? Our guidance system is logic. Looking at what we've invested in, looking at what we don't want to tear down. How can we fix it? We're fixers. So that is why they quickly move on. Hey, Paul, in the house, what's up? How are you doing? I'm doing great. Glad to have you. So that is how they can move on. I get a lot of questions from friends, from people that email me that want to know, how can she just move on that quick? Well, as Cyberzoni just said, they've been thinking about it for so long. They've been planning. They're planners, especially when it comes to the romantic or the life of getting with another guy. The other reason is what I just said. They're emotional. It's only this moment that matters, guys. So whatever you did yesterday, I'm going to say for the majority, we're going to give a 1% gap to women that don't, follow that route. But they're very difficult to find. But the 99% of them live in the moment. This moment is all that matters. It doesn't matter if you gave her a kidney or bone marrow 2 weeks ago to help her to live, only for her to break up with you. It doesn't matter. It only matters in the moment. So what can you do as a man to avoid this situation? What could you do? They move on fast because they need validation fast. By moving on with somebody else, they have validation until it's not enough anymore. I would agree with that. Validation is another key factor. They're bored. Attention. They need attention. Lisa's in the house. Hey, Rad, how are you? Good to have you. So the reality is our brains are just so different. And what can we do to stop this? What can we do to maintain frame? There's no such thing as maintaining frame. The reality is eventually, Matt's in the house. Good to see you, brother. Dopamine will wear off and you're going to get bored of each other. It's as simple as that. It's not the fact that the relationship's horrible. It's just, that's human nature. However, men have invested so much and we want to keep that momentum going, right? We want to make sure that we build something out of it. We can fix something that gets broken, or we'll try to fix it. We'll try to go through all sorts of counseling to help that relationship because we don't want to lose. It's as simple as that. Stargate's in the house. Relationship to women equals in relation to something. That's probably well said, Stargate. MGTOW, absolute knowledge in the house as well. Good to see you, brother. So what can you do? Well, this is why I'm not a believer in the cohabitation, the marriages, and these just extremely LTR relationships. It's because it wears off. Okay, it wears off, and it's the familiarity will eventually breed contempt. It happens everywhere. And there's really nothing you can do about it. It's human nature. Do you like to be around, let's say, your best friend? Do you like to be around your best friend all the time? No, you need time apart, right? Even though you guys, get along, you love doing that, you always need time apart. It's just how we are. We like to be alone sometimes. We like to have our space. And so when you're living with a woman, it's going to be very difficult to maintain that. We do love women. Maintain frame. Victor Cervantes, she told me you're supposed to pay for everything because dad told me that I told her your dad teach him wrong. Well, there you go. Well said, Victor. Lisa Smith, women will be looking for a place to live after the rent moratorium expires. Be careful, gentlemen. This is coming from a woman. Lisa, I can't remember where you're from. Let me know where you're at, what part of the world. But I would agree that you're right. And again, we're going back to that provider protector status when shit hits the fan. You know, I was watching, what's his name? Man Warrior, is that his name? And he was talking about masculinity. And he's also talking about what's going on from the perspective of what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months. Guys, inflation is going through the roof. There's shortages now in all sorts of food products, supplies. I mean, it's interesting to see what's happened. So Lisa, I think, is correct in the sense that you're going to see more women looking for providers. So be careful, right? Ranaja, 1, they move fast because they have so many options and they never loved you. Well said. Their love is different. Let's remember that. Women's love is very different than a man's love. A man has a logical love. Hey, I want to love you and love every part of you unconditionally. A woman loves differently. She might love the resources. She might love how you make her feel in that moment. Remember, you always put on after she says something. If she says, I love being with you, right now you do. Always remember, right now, I'm in love with you. Right now you are. Okay, right now does not mean tomorrow. Right now means right now. Matt Downer, being alone gives you a boost of self-confidence. I would agree, 100%. Suzanne in the house, all the way from Fort Myers, Florida. Good to see you. Always like hearing from Suzanne. Easy options for women. Even landwells can get picky nowadays. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. That is one correct statement. Guys are hitting everything. I'm telling you, they're hitting everything. A 6'4" guy will hit a large lady, no problem. It's just, that is the reality that this world is. Ed, I texted with my daughter last night. She told me they went to a water park in Florida. I realized my ex is using the new guy as a puppet to entertain her like she did with me, but I know she will get bored. Well, again, a tiger doesn't change its stripes, Ed. She'll eventually get bored of him and go to the next guy. And that's the reality of most women today in modern day relationships. Now, do I hold men accountable? 100%. There's douchebag men. There's doormat men. There's men that don't maintain themselves. There's men that argue with women. Never, ever argue with a woman. That's right, Kansas City. Kansas City. We talked about that. Cheaper groceries in the house. Good to see you from Nova Scotia, Canada. Salute the Queen for me. And don't get in trouble with the Royal Mounted Canadian Police, the RCMP. My father-in-law was from Canada. Batman's in the house. Good to see you, brother. Hope all is well out there in your neck of the woods. Always a pleasure. I have women already asking to live with me, says Suzanne. And you show them the door. Yeah. Maintain frame. Relationships are transactional across the board now, not just between men and women. People are just using each other nowadays. I would agree, 100%. Lang Bentley, better to be a single man and save your money rather exposing your finances and retirement on these women. If any state would legalize prostitution, men would ignore women for good. Well, it's legalized in Las Vegas, I think in Nevada, depending on the county. But yeah, I mean, there's 6 or 7 ladies that come to Rad's channel, and they're all telling you exactly what Lang and everyone else says. Don't spend money. Don't deal with them. Work on yourself. These are coming from women. So it's true. We got to be careful. We got to be careful. Red Wolf in the house. Remember, gents, whenever survival kicks in, women will quickly fall into gender roles. Keep up the good work, brother. Thank you, brother. Tampa, Florida in the house. You guys stay safe in those hurricanes. Babs, men sadly love unconditionally while modern women love opportunistically. That's very well said. I believe that men can love unconditionally. I sure as hell knew I loved her. All of it. Even the shitty conditions. I always was trying to figure out ways to make it better. Which, if you think about it, is the truth. Now, a lot of women say they believe in love. Let's talk about that for a second. If love existed in this grand scheme of things, there would be no divorces. We'd all still be married. We'd all still be in relationships. But love is very different for both men and women. Absolutely. Fat chicks in the 90s acted way different than fat chicks after 2000. Well said. That's 100% true right there. Well said. I would agree 100%, because they get the attention and the validation from every corner of the world. So they say, what's happened to modern day relate? What started this whole fall? Social media and the phone. The handheld phone is what created it all. I'm technology. Having 100 orbiters in your hand at any given second if you're a woman. It doesn't matter what you look like if you're a lady. For men, it does, right? It's important to have confidence and look pretty decent. But for women, all they have to do is open their phone and they'll have 15, 20 guys texting and asking for their directions to come over right now, regardless of stature, status, height, you name it. Paul, hey, we're off topic, but Bones Brigade or Z-Boys? I got to go Bones Brigade. They're just more of my generation. Z-Boys, Jay Adams, Stacy Peralta, Dwayne Peters. Oh, was Dwayne Peters on there? That's a little bit, a few years older than me, but I was closer to like, Tony Hawk's only like 4 years older than me. Tommy Guerrero, Mike McGill. Yeah, I got to go Bones Brigade. Hopefully you saw that movie, the Bones Brigade movie. I would agree. It's disgusting, man. Kenta Wilson in the house. Best channel on YouTube. Oh, I appreciate that. The only way this channel works well is guys like yourself and everyone else in this forum and ladies that come and chime in, and everybody shares what we believe is a way to get through life. Good to have you, Kenta. Relationships would be done for if states legalize prostitution less expensive, says S.A. Rod. 100%. There is a reason why it's against the law. Victor Cervantes, my ex-wife friend married 3 times and she's going for the next. She really moves on fast. You get to that point and you're constantly moving in this direction for, again, the dopamine wears off and attention is sought elsewhere. Is it your fault? Well, here's where we go wrong. We try to be nice. We try to give. The more we give, the less we get. I got a friend that gave his lady everything and she still treats him like crap. And I said, you got to quit giving to her. I mean, she's now conditioned that nothing is good enough. I love living alone, says Suzanne. Come to my parties, but that's it. There you go. Well said. What do you think about creatine? I hear it's the only good substance. Don't do anything else unless you do DHEA or creatine. Start with DHEA first. See what that does for you. You can't love women unconditionally. She cheats, she's out. Again, it's very risky in today's modern day dating. If you don't want your heart broken, if you don't want to be monkey branched, the best thing to do is to be in short-term flings only, where there's no emotional attachment. You enjoy each other's company, you have fun in the bedroom, and you move on. Once that dopamine wears off, which is typically 6 to 8 weeks, if not less, and you're out the door, off to the next one. And that is how you can safely guard your heart. That's it. I wouldn't be trusting a woman to marry you and say she's going to love you forever. I can't believe it anymore. Thanks, Suzanne. I do like doing this channel. I like to connect with everybody. It helps me probably more than it helps you guys. A woman's love should exist to a man. Exist is the key word, Matt. Well said. Stargate, men can focus intently on one thing, but women can balance 5 to 4 things at the same time without attachment. Very well said. I was thinking about that too. They can compartmentalize better. A guy gets broken up, he's stopped in his tracks. He can't eat, he can't sleep. All he does is think about it 24/7. He becomes depressed. It's hard for him to work. He takes days off. He starts drinking. He's trying to figure out a way to not let it consume him. Why? Because I've been there. A woman can compartmentalize. That breakup is going to be 1/10 of her brain energy, but 9/10 of it will be on her family, her job, her friends, her working out. That's just how their brains work. They compartmentalize everything. Yeah, very well said, Stargate. Too many women confuse attention with relationship attention. It is not the same thing. Guy game is how many women you can obtain. Girl game is the quality of men you can keep post-sex. Well said, Red Wolf. I would agree with that statement 100%. Bull, left. Love is not forever. The scars it leaves behind are. It's what you do with those scars, right? And, we don't hate on ladies. Women are beautiful. I enjoy having decent conversations, but you have to understand how to navigate life if you're going to deal with ladies, females, women. Your mother, geez, my mother it has female nature. My sisters do. Geez, my sisters are the women I talk about, especially the closest one to me. She's monkey branch multiple times. And I still love her. She's my sister. She's my flesh and blood. But we have to figure out a way to get through life and not put a woman center to our life. She can be a complement. But if we stay on our purpose and our game, guess what? We win. We can turn those scars into, we just have to change the beliefs about those scars. Did she really hurt us when she monkey branched? Well, in that moment she did, because we felt neglected. We felt she wasn't loyal. But now that we understand that that's just part of female conditioning and female nature, we can look at it differently. So moving on, and especially if you're having a hard time getting over the breakup, just realize there's nothing you did, most likely. It just female nature came out. And now that gives you quality of life moving forward so that you don't have to get in that situation ever again, right? A guia espiritual is in the house. Good to see you. Lisa, men are a necessity, not a luxury. Oh, that is well said. And men, for the most part, want to take care of a woman in a family. That is what is programmed within us. But I think that's exactly what you're saying. And that's what a lot of women believe. Men are luxury. We're items. We're utilities. So well said. Thank you for that comment. 90% of girls have poor game to keep a man. Darlie, very well said. Very well said. Well, keeping a man is different today for them. I don't believe that. I think it's gone between, back in the 40s and 50s, women really took care of their man when they came home from work. They were dressed to the hilt. They were made up as, attractive women. They made food. They made sure the man ate first. They took care of him. And articles in those days were written about how to keep your man happy. Now it's gone the other way. How do men keep their women happy, right? That's where we're at today. And I don't think, here's what I think. The recipe is very, very easy. And I've discussed this multiple times with gals that I've gone on dates with. And I love talking about this topic because here it is. Men are very simple. If you give us attention in a form of sexual intimacy, just general appreciation. And I used to say this: if my wife would have come up to the bedroom, say at 9 o'clock, and just scratched my arm for 5 minutes, told me she appreciated what I did for the family, gave me a kiss on the cheek, she'd have everything. I wouldn't need sex all the time. But she never did that. It was always what I was doing wrong. And it's very simple. So if a woman's out there that wants any sort of advice, that's listening, show some appreciation. It doesn't have to be for 5 hours. A 2-minute text message will go months or weeks of him feeling great. It's as simple as that. And you'll get everything. You'll get a guy that can take bullets for you. And that is the easiest. Kay's in the house. Good to see you again. Always appreciate your presence. MGTOW Absolute Knowledge. I've tried the friends with benefits things. Don't like putting my body where other dudes' fluids might have just been a few days or hours ago. There is something about that statement. I would agree. Suzanne, people instinctively know the truth when they hear it, even if they don't like it. Well said. I would agree with that statement. She will take one piece of each man's soul who blasted inside her. She'll be unable to pair bond. I do believe in that. Absolutely. It's very difficult with multiple sexual partners for a woman to pair bond with men going forward. I've seen them. They cannot, they're always thinking of the next guy. It's really sad what the state of promiscuity is today. Paul Revere, women always have at least one other man in the chamber. That's why it's easier for them to move on. Very well said, Paul. Good to have you. The reality is there's always a backup plan. That is the number one reason they can move on so quickly, because they've had this person or persons in their chamber for a long time. And it's just a matter of flipping the switch. And guys, we get hurt. Chris Escando, as a mom of boys, I'm concerned about how these modern girls are being raised, too entitled and prepared to receive everything from a man in exchange for nothing. Well, that, number one, thank you for being here. That is a very, very well statement. And I have a daughter that I can literally say to you, she has been raised in that form or fashion. And she is in her younger 20s and has she can't get a guy because she's entitled. And I have a son that's 20. He is dating, or he said the dating market for his age group is a shit show. They're all princesses. They're all entitled. They don't have to do anything. So I completely agree with your statement. One having a daughter like the one you described, and one having a boy who's dealing with sisters. Actually, I asked my son would you date your sister? And he said, no way. So there you go. I would agree. I mean, we are definitely in for a world of hurt if this is the way it's going. Very well said. Thomas Parker, men are a necessity but are replaceable. We are just a LRU, line replaceable unit. Very well said, Thomas. Good to have you. We're utilities in a lot of ways, right? We're looked at as utilities. Make to absolute knowledge, there's always another simp and there's always another dude willing to smash unless she's hideous. They would still smash if she's hideous. That is the state of men today. The thirst is out of control. Stargate, for the man, the mind is the greatest resistant to change after LTR. Yes, very well said. Very well said. Women move on, Royal Alegria. I like that. I like that handle. Women move on because they get bored and need that emotional ride in nature. Yes, they do. Yes, boredom is very quick. And if you're nice, I'll just say this. The nicer you are, the drier she gets. The nicer you are, now I'm not saying to be a dick. Not saying that the more you give, the drier she becomes. The more she's bored. And that is the reality. And so we have to learn how to deal with ladies. Do we entitle them? Guys will automatically put a woman on a pedestal the first date. I mean, it's amazing. When I went out with this gal on Friday night and she tells me these guys, her dating stories. I just love it. It just reinforces everything we're talking about. These guys show up and they start future planning. And these women go nuts. They don't want anything to do with this guy because he just thirsts. He wants to get in a relationship so quick, within an hour of meeting this gal. He's planning to take him to Thanksgiving. He's planning to do all these trips. And women are seeing that's weakness. That's weakness big time in a man to do that. So that I think we've seen the complete flipping of gender roles in the last 10 years, and it just accelerated. Cheaper groceries, a woman can be completely involved with you and your family and family functions. Tells you she loves you and will build a life with you, then totally disconnect the next day. It only matters in the moment for the majority. It only matters in this moment. Tomorrow doesn't matter what you did today. Kay says, I don't think relationships should be transactional per se, but it's just a case of helping each other out and loving each other. I wish every woman got that message. I truly believe that men want to make it work. Do we get tired of our women? Sure. Do they get tired of us? Sure. But in the end, our grit and our drive to keep that relationship going is much stronger in the man. And that's why we literally get stopped in our tracks when a woman breaks up and moves on quickly. How could she do that? We invested so much. Why would she do that? Because it's been planned for so long. Both men and women have so many options in modern times that make relationships difficult. And I would agree with that statement, Cyberzoni. We do have options. And women have allowed promiscuity to flourish. 26 years ago, when I was courting my wife at the time, or my fiance, I chased her. I did the things. I went after her. And she appreciated it. But now we have so many different options. And it was a lot harder to get with her intimately. Now it's a cakewalk. You can literally have dinner and be in her pants within an hour and a half. It's just with no questions asked. Now, how is that great for society? It doesn't. It weakens every relationship possible because you don't have to do anything to get it. There's nothing to chase. I love riding mountain bikes because when I ride the hill, yesterday I went up 8 miles up the hill. It's a gruel. I'm going 2,500 feet of elevation. But when I'm coming down, it's so much fun. It's a reward. I did something. I earned it. Now, a lot of guys pass me on electric bikes. Electric mountain bikes are getting really popular. But the reward coming down is not the same as my reward going up. I worked for it and I earned it, right? And so now we don't have to work anymore. We don't have to earn them anymore. So they're just cheapened. Very well said. The man with no name. The next day happened to me. Happens to everyone. And you're just, we're all the same. Sometimes you got to shit on a bitch, treat me like a straight up garbage. Sometimes you got to shit on a bitch, treat them like straight up garbage. Well, sometimes, when you don't give them everything, that's when they like you more because you're a challenge. Like flipping a light switch. I would agree. Today she loves you, but in the next morning she is gone. And that's probably, there's two reasons why that happens. Number one, you were too nice. You were too, in agreement. And she got bored. So she's going to think about somebody else. Or she just needs different validation and attention, which was part of female nature. So you only can possibly control how you approach the relationship, whether that's being too nice or too mean. And even then, that's difficult to maintain because eventually, human nature is human nature. I think a lot of women think being cared for, looked after, then being intimate with men is paying for that protection with sex. I understand that idea, but it's not a transaction like that. I see what you mean. Sure. Everything seems transactional, okay, right? We want to be giving and providing, and we expect the transaction to evolve into intimacy in the bedroom. But it sounds like you're saying, hey, why don't we just love each other and give unconditionally, whether that be our bodies or our time or our resources without anything, we're both giving freely. And that would be a wonderful way to live in a relationship. I just think it's in today's world, unless you find someone that really understands that, it's very difficult to find, but well said. Suzanne, the BC pill and feminism have given women more freedom. The birth control pill and feminism have given more freedom than they can handle. Yeah. And I think the freedom is difficult. I really do. We're wired our biology is so different. Our wiring is so different that men want to protect and provide. We want to spread our seed to maintain our existence of humanity. Women seek protectors to help with the extension of our species and to be provided and protected and nurture the children. But where have we gone now? We no longer hunt in the fields for our food. We no longer have to, fight off warring tribes. But there are war tribes. It's in the phone. It's in the form of orbiters that are constantly seeking the attention. Men don't even care anymore if the woman's married. They'll go after her, right? What do you think about lookism? Which one more important, face or height? There's a lot of talk about that. I'm not 6 foot. I'm bald. And for me, well, good question. I think if I'm purely looking at this as lookism, I think height would be the winning factor. Height would be the winning factor. Because if the guy has a pretty face, but he's 5 foot, or a handsome face, but he's 5'6", a woman will overlook that. I mean, there's ugly dudes that are 6'2" that are walking around with decent looking women. So yeah, but I think confidence is what wins in the end. I've seen ugly dudes that are 5'8" with really attractive women, and they own it. It just depends on the girl. A love for her just comes and goes. Matt Downer. Lisa Smith, we're all born with free will. Powerful stuff. I would agree. Freedom to choose. Freedom to navigate life on our own terms. So if you're thinking that she didn't love, that she's so cold because she could move on so quick, you just have to remember that the majority do that. They plan it in advance. They have an emotion that only exists in the now moment. This exact moment is how they feel. So if you took her on a helicopter ride yesterday and gave her the keys to a brand new house, and today she treated you like crap, or she said that she didn't love you, well, just realize it's what she feels in the moment. Right? Matt Downer, I will choose free will myself. Marcella, down south in Utah County, I personally prefer a guy with a nice face over height. But yes, confidence in the end always wins. Well, there you go. Who asked that question? Rainaja 1. So there are women that I've seen a very attractive woman with shorter guys, 5'6", 5'7". Yeah. It just all depends on women. But I've also met women that won't date guys that are, if they're 5'7", they won't date a guy that's under 6'2". So, we all have our preferences. And there's a lot of folks on the internet that talk about you have to look a certain way. I don't know how much I believe that. There's certain women that want a specific looking guy, but that doesn't translate or correlate to every woman out there. As Marcella talked about. AI transformed in the house. Good to see you. Okay. I don't care about looks, overly about looks. If they take care of themselves and have good hygiene, that's what matters. I hear that a lot. In fact, the gal I went out with on Friday night, she talked a lot about these guys that show up on dates that they're not groomed, they got shit in their teeth, they wear sweats, they just don't look good. So there you go, guys. If you want to go on dates and meet gals, take care of yourself. Her love is in the moment, but the next minute her love can be gone if you say something wrong, like you lost your job. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Black Earth. Hey, Rad, good to see you. Good to see you in the house. Andrew Briggs. And what do you think about Andrew Tate? I don't know much about Andrew Tate. Enlighten me. I'm honestly not into huge confidence around women. It actually turns me off. Confidence in the sense that the guy just thinks he's Don Juan DeMarco, or I think there's a subtle confidence that women seek. They don't seek. Let's see. You might be thinking more of a conceited type confidence, but if that's the case, I would see why that would be a turnoff to you. Okay. When a man cheats, it's the man's fault. When a woman cheats, it's the man's fault. Women never take responsibility for their behavior. They always blame the man. I would agree. My wife said I caused her to divorce me. How about that? Lang Bentley, I hear older couples say that they were friends before marriage. What will happen in the future if men and women can be friends today? There won't be families in the future. Well, yeah, that's interesting to say that. People that were friends that became lovers, I can see that maybe happening, but I think there's a sexual chemistry between two people, and maybe they thought they were friends, but somebody liked the other more than the other liked that person. So call it what you will. I don't know much about Andrew Tate, guys. If I'm thinking of the person that I'm thinking of, then I need to check it out more. Amushmer, stay away from them. Like I said, men are long-term, women are short-term. Women are emotionally based for the majority. I mean, everything happens in the moment. There's nothing you can do about it. You just understand it. You just understand it. Gare is in the house. Even the fat creatures think they are hot shit today. Well, who gave them the ability to feel that way? Right? You have Lizzo. You have very large women that the fat acceptance movement. I don't find it attractive. That's not attractive to me. But they are becoming princesses in their own right. And you know what, guys, it's becoming more of a cultural norm to allow that. In the 80s, you didn't see a lot of heavy women like you do today, right? And they believe that fat is nothing wrong with it. Well, I think you should take care of yourself. I'm not attracted to overly heavy women. Absolutely not. I like slender women that take care of themselves, that go to the gym, that exercise, that look good. Do they have to be a size 0? No, but I'm not going to date some size 10. So, yeah, you're right, Gare. Women today believe that they're entitled to the attention, the validation, as all women. Self-confident and self-discipline is incredibly attractive no matter who you are. Well said, Suzanne. I agree with that statement. I'm becoming misogynist and I can't help it. Well, misogynist, look, the reality, Gary, is this. Whatever's happened, you don't want to, you don't want to hate a woman. There's really nothing to hate. You just have to understand that this is female nature. Hate feminism. Hate the emasculation of men by society, but learn to live with a woman and learn to live with women around you by understanding them. And I guarantee you'll have a much happier life. We've all been through that stage. Shit, I remember there was a stage where I just hated. I looked at every woman as the same, and then I had to realize women are different than men. And once you understand them, you can literally, it's like a breakthrough. It's like, and I'm not saying they're these horrible, monstrous creatures. They just are programmed differently. And we try to program them through our way of thinking, and it never works. So if you understand what these channels are talking about, as you do, and as everybody else does, we can navigate life by accepting who we are and they are. When they're very loud and friends with everyone, I feel like they've probably been with loads of women. It turns me away. I see what you mean. Sure. I think you like the subtle confidence of a man. Yeah, that makes 100%. And I think most men don't like dicks like that either. AI transform, I don't think men and women can be friends. I would agree with that statement. I think one will like the other more than the other likes that person. The advertisement of love in the media is what made me a nice guy. All of the jewelry commercials, right? What do you think about ugly women who get used and dumped by chads? I think it's, they put themselves in, it was a choice that they made. Again, they sought the attention of a chad for attention and validation. They sought the bad boyness, and it leaves them unfortunately hurt in the end, because then they realize that they just got used, that they're a utility for certain men. They've literally become a fluid dumpster, and that messes with their mind. Women were not meant to have so much promiscuity sex. I mean, I think, what was it? If they had more than 3 partners in their whole life, they couldn't pair bond. I think Greg Adams talked about that. But yeah, they're becoming utilities. It's damaging to their psyche. And that's probably why we see so much what a shit show life is in the modern dating world. They've had too many partners. And with so many partners becomes a mental state that can never, ever be reversed. Well said. Misogyny is inside of all of us men to an extent. I would agree with that. Talk to you soon, Matt. Great to have you. 21st century feminism. Yeah, it is. It's different world, Lisa. Chris, we are so overexposed to celebs and plastic stereotypes on social media that we eventually forget how to treat real men and women. Yeah, I would agree with that statement. And we forget who we are. Everything becomes a physical thirst. Women today are seeking, the gal I went out with on Friday, she's an esthetician. So she has a spa. And she was telling me how much women are spending 3,000, 5,000, 7,000, Botox, fillers. She mentioned some sort of radio frequency technique that they now put in the body that sends radio frequency to shrink the cells up. That's costing $4 or $5 grand. And she says her spa is out of control, booked up. I mean, if you want to get in the business of making a lot of money, cater to women's vanity, right? But you're 100% right. Women are seeking the fountain of youth. Men are seeking, especially now, which I find absolutely disgusting, Chris, is this desire for these Kim Kardashian types. They look like cartoon characters with the little tiny waists. I mean, how do you get a waist that tiny? You can get your butt implants and the lip implants and all that stuff up top, but how do they get I heard that they're removing bones to get that small waist. So yeah, everything is now 100%. There's no emotion. There's no mental connection. There's no real chemistry. It's all based on visual. And men and women have allowed it. And it's going to be very interesting to see. Where are the good girls? I'm even hearing that we're seeing the Amish begin to see some of these attributes coming in. I don't think they'll ever be, unless they allow electricity. But other than that, yeah, very well said. So be acquainted with many women and you will understand them, or be acquainted with many women with red pill goggles will be reasonable. Well, the more you're around women, the more you understand them. But the best thing you can do is really understand that a woman's brain is emotional. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. It only matters right now. And a woman's currency is attention and validation. Now, you go and get in a relationship with understanding those two things, and you tell me how it works, right? Or be acquainted with many women with red pill goggles will be reasonable. I mean, there are good women out there. I'm going to say 1% of the population out of 7 billion. What's 1% of 7 billion? Get this. But yeah, women that understand their place in gender roles would be great. But understand them just from a perspective. Understand women from other experiences on channels like this, what guys have gone through. You're seeing it everywhere. We're no different than any other man. FJT is in the house. I was going to hook you up with some PUA perfume from the store, but the employee told me they don't have a maintained frame cringe aisle. Please forgive me, Rad. You are forgiven, my friend. I need that sexual panther from Ron Burgundy, Anchorman. Every time I drive past a gal, they look to see if I'm looking at them. Well said. Seeking attention. Mateus, can a depressed girl lose interest in you due to depression? Sure. Mm-hmm. Emotions guide everything. Manoj Roy from India is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Always a good time here in the live streams. TV show Banshee had an Amish girl who was total skate behind it all. Yeah, I mean, word travels fast, right? Word travels fast now. Doesn't matter where you're at. It travels fast. You know, the Amish still have to go into town and see billboards, right? Even though they don't have TVs and radios and all that stuff, they do take their carriages and drive past grocery stores, billboards, you know, digital pictures, and they're seeing it. Marcella, I'm not a fan of the Kim Kardashian look. Body goals for me are women like Salma Hayek, Sofia Vergara. Oh, yes. Just very gorgeous, feminine women that seek to be feminine, you know? Kim Kardashian is not seeking to be feminine. She's seeking to be some sort of idol, an object. And good for Kanye for getting rid of her. And she's going to be probably on her 4th marriage now if she gets married again. Ease in the house. Rad, it's crazy out here. Got a family member who has been married for over 40 years, and we were just talking about how despite him earning 6 figs for 25 years, she never brings his food to him. That's the truth, E. That's the truth. What have you done for me lately, right? The Janet Jackson song? That's probably what she's thinking. Manage Roy's from India. I don't know what part. Women move on fast, says MGTOW Absolute Knowledge, because they don't have to put in as much effort for the next hookup. Bottom line, honesty. Well said. Do you think smaller, skinnier women can still be attractive without all the curves? I do. My body type is more tone athletic looking with a little bit, that's just what I prefer. Like a size 2, if that gives you any advice. Some guys like the curvy chicks, which is great, and big breasts. I mean, breasts are great, but I don't like the gigantic breasts. They don't do anything for me. 1% of 7 billion is 70 million. There you go. Suzanne doing the math. 70 million women are decent. I'm going to give it that in this world. I think 99% of them, maybe, and if we went to 2%, it'd be 140 million. But the majority have been so indoctrinated that guess what? We're seeing the idols. We're seeing women only care. I'm seeing women in their mid-20s getting lip injections. This high thinking is not helping. It's hurting. Is there anything I could do, or does that mean no matter how I act, nothing will work unless she's better? The only thing you can do is understand female nature. The only thing you can do is understand that you are only in the moment. So be grateful for the moment you have, because tomorrow she can be a completely different person or completely moved on. So I would not link your heart or your emotions to any woman in this day and age. I think it'd be very difficult because I think that she would get bored and just move on so quick, it would get hurt again. So there's no such thing as a woman getting better. It's only understanding women. That's it. Hope that helps. Maintain frame. Any good recommendations on tactical soap brands? Duke Cannon. Get Duke Cannon soap or Sasquatch. Got a friend. Hey, Carl, good to see you. Got a friend who's going through this 10 years together and wants her to say things are over. I told him good luck. She'll never take accountability. Just paint you as the bad guy. So just move on. Ain't that the truth, Carl? Ain't that the truth? Kim Kardashian is the thought archetype. Yes, she is. George in the house, all the way from across the pond. Hey, Rad, what can you tell me as a general rule for single mothers? Is there a special way to talk to them or working with them? Well, that's a very interesting. If you're working with them, just keep the conversations to your work. I wouldn't ask them anything about life. If they do talk to you, then I would respond. But in terms of getting with a single mother, I don't advise it. Because again, it's just that's part of the pond you don't want to fish in. But I would just keep it very professional. Don't ask much about their lives. If they ask about your life, just give brief answers. Be cordial. That's what I'd say. Soulman M, it's because they have so many beta orbiters to give them shoulders. Every woman that I broke up with has a 10 times notch count compared to the women I slept with. Guys, promiscuity is out of control. Women are able to get any guy, any woman in today's world, even the women watching this channel, could literally call up any orbiter, and that guy would be over in 10 minutes, if not an hour. Big breasts equals big sagging sometimes and equals a lot of gravity. Lisa Smith, Mateus needs to listen to Tom Likas. Yes. Blow me up, Tom, African tribal style. Yeah, Tom was great. There is no equity for whatever we do for her. It's crazy, says E. Well, there's no emotional bank account. Men have an emotional bank account. Women don't. Man talk. Any good aftershave recommendations, guys? Brute. I don't use aftershave, but when I did, I think it was called Brute. So old school. FJT. My personal preference is slim thick, meaning slim waist, no gut, round bottom, in shape. I'm not physically attracted to rolls. Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's a good look too. That Latina look. But that cartoon character where they take the damn ribs out, that's weird. I mean, you're getting to a point where your waist is that big. That's unproportionate. I heard about a woman who just divorced her husband just a few days after marriage. The reason was, I guess, close to culture thing. It doesn't surprise me. She got bored. She went through it to get the attention. The attention wore off. She's off to the next guy. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me, but it's the truth. Dating or marrying a single mother is like doing time for a crime that you never commit, having nothing to do with a single mother. I don't recommend dating single moms. I mean, if you want to hit and quit, that's one thing. Don't date them. You'll never be first. There's always a baby daddy. You're going to be looked at as the provider, but not the father. There's just a lot of downsides to dating. If you don't have kids, find one that doesn't have kids. You'll be much better off. Very well said, Darlie. Suzanne, as far as singles mother goes, just be polite no more. They will bleed your wallet dry. Listen to Suzanne, guys. I would agree with that. Rad personal question, but do you ever get depressed? I think everyone goes through different mood swings. Depends on the state now. Like I really probably don't. I mean, I get sad about certain things. Like I get a little sad about my kids not having the family that they once had. Sunday dinners with mom and dad don't exist. So I do get sad about certain things like that. Sometimes if I've thought about my old divorce and memories that popped up, there's a little bit of sadness, but it doesn't depress me. I know what to do. The only thing you can do if you feel sad or depressed is you got to get up and move. You got to leave the house. You got to ride a bike. You got to go to the gym. You got to hike. You got to go to a new restaurant. You got to move energy. That is the only way. If you sit with your sadness, you're going to become even worse. That's my advice. If more men just got a pup, train them, they'd be far better with women and understanding what attention, praise, positive reinforcement, and leading are all about. Well said, Carl. Well said. Prajwal Satish in the house. In my understanding, MGTOW is not about the justice system. It is about completely understanding feminine nature and deciding whether what women can offer is what we really need or not. From India. Good to have you, brother. I would agree with that 100%. The red pill is awakening to the natures of women, government, and education in our lives that have bamboozled us for generations. That's all it is. And then we decide how we're going to deal with it. So men going their own way, some men opt out of relationships. Some men don't want anything to do with women anymore. They're happier being alone and working on themselves. Perfect. Some men just want to have short-term flings only. Some men don't have a problem dating. Some do. So, but at the end of the day, MGTOW is allowing men to navigate their life. That's what it allows us to do. We're the decision makers now, not the government, not the education, not the feminine person in our lives. Well said. It's all done to gain attention for women. Yes. A clean badge is hard to come by nowadays. Well, the level of promiscuity is out of control. Maintain frame. Yeah, Rabbit, as you get older, virtually all available women are single mothers. Yes, very well said. Very well said. See the predicament people are in today? And the women that divorces their husband young and realizes she can't get married, gets older and no guy wants her. I mean, it's just really sad. If you really think about the dynamics of relationships and where they've come and gone and where they're going. It's really just society is crumbling, guys. My favorite body type in a gal is the Ronda Rousey type. She's hot. I think Ronda Rousey's attractive myself. John Boston's in the house. If a woman leaves a man, then thinks some stranger is going to fill in for the dad, they are nuts. Well said, John. Good to have you. That's what is called justice. I told you yesterday about it. Yes, you did. As you get older, you got to get richer so you can date younger women. Yeah. It's not hard to go out with a 25-year-old, 29-year-old. They obviously were in different worlds, but, you know, a lot of guys are dating younger gals. Now with COVID and social media, it's insane amount of beta orbiters out there. I watched your video. It's crazy when I saw the same chicks on Badoo, Plenty of Fish I saw back in 2014. Can you believe it? They're all recycled. They're all still on there. I'm telling you. If you guys haven't been on a dating app, just download it and go see all the same girls that are still there 4 years later. For justice, you need to have insight and foresightness. Yes. AI transform. I wish Indian men knew more about female culture, then we won't even pay attention to them. Well, don't Indian, aren't there a lot of arranged marriages out there? How do those work? FJT, I can't even talk to single mothers over the phone. The kids are screaming and crying. I can't take it. Crumb crunchers. Yeah. It's always something. Just stay away from single mothers at all costs. And it's not that we hate single mothers. It's the fact that if you want a relationship with them, it's going to be, again, you'll have better odds catching a ride on a spaceship tonight on the corner by 7-Eleven than maintaining a relationship with a single mother. Well said, FJT. Years ago, when I felt sad, I would go for a 50-mile bike ride. Unbeatable. Very well. You got to get your energy out. That's what I do. And regardless if I want to do anything, if I don't even want to do it, I just push myself. Right? Don't quit, persevere. Yo, brother, I went out last night in Philly with a friend and his girlfriends. Most of them were bisexual feminists or overweight smoking hookahs. Never again. The level, don't quit, of bisexual women, I don't know if it's a trend. These younger gals, I mean, there's some gals that I think are legit, but that are older, but the younger gals, I don't know. I think it's a trend or something. But lots of them are like that, especially on their, look at dating apps. They talk about it all the time. John, what do you think about single moms where the kids have gone off to college and they don't have the kids with them? That's fine. But here's what's going to happen. A single mother whose kids are all grown probably will have grandkids at some point, and then those grandkids become her kids, and then she's constantly going to be in the kids' business even at college, you know, because again, that's just how it works. The drama will still exist. But, I mean, hit and quit. Arranged marriage is legal gold digging. Interesting. I've heard about Indian marriages being arranged. My confidence is destroyed. I can't even talk to a woman now. Well, then work on yourself. That's all you got to do. Listen to Tom Likas. Work on yourself. Get yourself in the best possible state that you don't give a fuck what they think. You know, if your confidence is destroyed, Garrett, because you're having issues with talking to a woman or she's disrespecting you, that means you have to build yourself up a little bit stronger, and you have to not give them so much importance. You know, listen to the Tom Likas, listen to Coach Craig Adams. They talk that, you know, these women are not like these spiritual angels and princesses that everyone has been made out to believe that they are. They're just normal human beings. You just have to understand them. So get your confidence back, work on yourself, and things will move forward. I dated women still married with kids. Their schedule is never as open as women. That's another thing. Logistics, dating single mothers. They typically have opposite weekends that men do because the women divorce and they get one weekend, the man doesn't. So finding a woman that has open schedule is very, very rare. That means they got divorced. John Boston, you don't want to be heating up dino chicken nuggets and tater tots for little King Tito. Oh, and don't forget King Tito's grape juice drinks. Capri Suns. Yep. Easiest bangs I ever had were married women druggies and a few neighborhood skanks. Reminds me of Leon Phelps from The Ladies' Man. He always talked about the skanks. Nirupam Majumdar. Can we MGTOWs have casual sex with girls? Of course. There's no rule book for MGTOW. MGTOW is allowing you to navigate your life on your terms. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it. Be smart and know the risks and rewards, but there's nothing wrong with that. Never date a woman whose mom is a narcissist and whose dad is a simp. That's what happened to mine. I wish I would have known that. 100% truth right there, Carl. Udip Burra. Oh, I said that right. I don't know why the gals just try to control everything men do after coming into a relationship. They just change a 180 flip. I just think that's reality. I think that's reality. It's TV. It's their friends. It's men allowing women to be that way. You know, it's just culture. If you stand strong and you be a masculine, confident man, you'll never allow a woman to disrespect you like that. A woman will have to compete for your attention, for your approval, not the other way around. Again, if you're putting a woman center to your life, she is going to treat you like shit. Remember that, gentlemen. You put a woman center and you put her on a pedestal, you will never be treated well. You'll be treated like a fan. Suzanne, I think bisexuality is definitely a trend now with young women. Yeah, I just think that it's trendy to say that and act like that. Dating a single mother equals 99% success rate that she'll cancel dates with you. Yes, that's another thing. They set a date, they'll cancel it. They're notorious for canceling dates. Notorious. 50-mile bike ride sounds great. I'm considering going to the mountains in New Hampshire for a week to go to Martha's Vineyard to hang out a week by myself. Good for you, John. Leon Phelps was awesome. Remember when you go down to the bus station and pick up the skanks and he talked about it? Oh, check out Ladies Man on YouTube, guys. Leon Phelps. The key is to get out and enjoy life on your own terms, to know that whatever you give to a woman is not going to be the same that she gives back to you. That is their nature. They are run by their emotional brain. We run by our logical brain. Neither one is right, neither one is wrong. It's just who we are. Are we going to allow and put a woman central for her to break our hearts? For us to try everything to make a happy relationship? No. We're going to keep them as a complement to our life, and we're going to understand female nature that, guess what? We can navigate and live life with females around us, in our work environments, in our neighborhoods, and we choose how to interact. It's as simple as that. Once we know this, once you know that the Disney story no longer exists, yeah, it's kind of lame to think about it. That's why there's really such thing called red pill rage. We learn to live with it. Hey, we get it. It's sad that, what we thought a white picket fence and dying within 10 minutes of each other when we're in our 90s would be, a dream come true. Now we realize the dream is for us to be the best version of ourselves, to chase excellence, to go out and build ourselves up financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and not allow a woman to do that. Because a woman can't. A woman can be a compliment. But if you put her center, and that's what's happened in relationships, men put women on a pedestal, and the pedestal crumbled. Well, hers, she just became she's the celebrity, we're the fan. That's what happened. Dating a single mother, blown out peace league. Yeah, they get hit and quit a lot. Years ago, a single mother canceled a date with me. She claimed she couldn't find a babysitter and her kid didn't have Lunchables. That's funny. FJT. Guys, that cat's got some good humor. So damn true, though. So damn true. All right, Prajwal, Indian arranged marriages, though it's best in the world currently thanks to feminism, in about a decade they'll reflect the same Western divorce numbers. MGTOW will stop many from regretting later. Yes, very well said. Are there a lot of simps in India? When I think of India, I think of like a culture of obviously you have your caste system, but I just think like women are submissive to men. I don't know. But it sounds like I've talked to a lot of Indian guys that say that women are they're like Western women now, just entitled. I find women over 40 are into drinking box wine. I think it's hiding or trying to mask depression, which came from a bad divorce and realizing the horror they inflicted on their kids. You know what, John? I would agree with you 100%. I believe that mine is very sad and depressed because of what she did. I think it's caught up to her 6 years later. And yes, I would agree with that. They will eventually, the casualty of their decision will rear its head eventually. And they're miserable. They're unhappy. They know that they should have never, ever divorced. They know that their role was a mother and a wife, right? I always ask myself if the roast beef is genetics or conditioning. Very good question. Let me know what you find out. Legal gold digging. Well said, Minaj. I'll answer, yeah, tons of simps over there. Feminism took over. There's no way to escape feminism, guys. Today, arranged marriage is nothing more than legal gold digging. You cannot know a person and family within 2 to 3 months. Very well said. You know, as I always say, I didn't know my wife until she divorced me. I was lived with her for 20 years. Did not know her till she divorced me. Now I know who she is. I wish I would have known that before I married her. No women are not submissive to man in India. Wow, interesting. Are they princesses too? Arranged marriage is okay in India, but don't think you won't get what you want in arranged marriages. Interesting. This is good information. Carbon, SGS3. The old saying of you don't know what you had till it's gone is how most of those divorced women end up. I would agree with that statement. You know, for men, we can move on. It's been a journey. And then one of the reasons I wanted to do this channel was to give back and help others realize what I've gone through. You know, to give information and experience to others and youngsters and guys going through it so that they could have a better life and not have to go through the heartache and the misery in the courts. And, but I think they do realize eventually what they gave up and what's gone. Absolutely. Especially as they get older. Bull, marriage should be prohibited by law. Wow. I think I would agree with that statement sometimes and significantly now. It's funny how Western women are seeing the collective narrative for 50 years is falling apart as more men are waking up, and it terrifies them, yet they still attempt to blame men for not stepping up. Well said, Carl. Very well said. They're still blaming men for not stepping up. And yet they know that feminism has done nothing to help their cause. Do I believe a woman should be barefoot and pregnant? Absolutely not. Do I believe a woman should vote? Sure. Do I believe a woman has the right to earn money? Absolutely. But do I believe that a woman should run a relationship? Should be the masculine version of it? Should be entitled to everything she wants without any accountability? No, absolutely not. No, accountability and responsibility and knowing what their gender roles is, as the man does, is the key. But that's thrown out the window now. Women settles for this marriage. Interesting. Could be one, could be both. It's probably worse if she's born with an ugly one and then it gets plowed and takes a beating. The more sex a woman has, the more her vagina gets stretched out. Let's be real. The more, you know, it's as simple as that. And that's probably why it's not good for women to have multiple partners. Manoj, really talking about that. John Boston, Brad, me too, was with her for 20 years. You and I both got married in 97. Yes, May of 97. Man, I wish I didn't marry her. I could have started a business and be retired by now. Absolutely. Yeah, but I got kids out of it. And so I look at my kids and I realize, you know, I had to go through it. I had to go through it to get where I am talking to everybody today. I mean, without that experience, I might be the one, like so many of us have been, wondering why she did that to me. So I had to look at the positives, but man, what I gave up, right? Raquel Singh in the house. Yes, they do. Talking about feminism and women in India. 100 years ago, men and women had their roles in a relationship. It's very different today. Well said, Cyberzoni. They knew their place. The woman knew that she would be a nurturer. She would take care of the family. The man would take care of the family by providing resources and protection. and they knew and respected each other's gender roles, where they don't respect today. The respect is out the window. Good to have some Indian brothers in the house. Rad was at a party last night, saw women complaining about their life and how tough it is that they are married. I said, what do you want? To get divorced and make your life 10 times worse and ruin your kids? The delusion. I talk to women that tell other women not to get divorced. It's just crazy. It's not better. Peter Parker, good evening, Rad. Good to see you. Thank you. Always glad you're here. Modern women love what you can do for them in the moment. That's it, Babs. Well said, brother. When I practice language with foreign women, I study them. They all pay attention to what goes on in America. They gravitate towards everything related to womanism. And even though you think about it, FJT, you would rather have that foreign woman in her culture instead of that foreign woman trying to be an American, right? Yeah, TV, social media, technology, the culture it has not helped families. And the destruction of the family is the destruction of society. It's as simple as that. My relatives were forced to leave the house after they were married. They are married by women. None of their family member filed a complaint about the husband's whereabouts to cops. Very interesting. Very interesting. Feminism is bad in India, and there's tons of simps. I've heard there's tons of simps. I just didn't know how much about the feminist, how feminist it is there. Never been to a hooker, but a lot of guys probably go to hookers now because it's easier, perhaps. Well, paying for that is, I don't see a problem. I don't do that, but that's just me. But the woman gives a great product. She wants a return customer, so she's going to give you an amazing time. And she's going to earn what she earns with no strings attached. So it's actually very good if you think about it. You don't have to spend $40,000 a year with a wife that doesn't put out. You can just spend $400 for a weekend and have an amazing time. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Carbon SGS3. I also got a child out of it, and even though some other simp is playing provider, I have my time with him, and he's my legacy. He is your extension and your biology. Very well said. We have to look at the positives of what we received out of it. And I received kids. I had happy experiences. We had some good times. We went places. We moved. We went through a lot of life circumstances. And I now have experience to help others. But boy, was it a shit show in a lot of weeks of my marriage. America sets the trend for the world to follow. Yes, they do. Don't quit. John Lozada, feminism is also prevailing in the Philippines. Filipino women aren't what they were 20 years ago. Interesting. I think the Filipino woman is gorgeous. A lot of friends say they should go over there, but I hear all the ones that came back divorced their husbands. So you're absolutely right. Lang Bentley, thank you, brother. Gutless simps are formed even in India, thanks to educated women who have no clue what they want, manage to confuse real men with words and lies. Even in India, guys. Rad, it's hard to make friends as we get older. Any suggestions or advice? Just join clubs, go to the gym, be around like-minded guys. If you ride bikes, get in some cycling clubs, mountain bike. If you ride mountain bikes on certain trails, guys will ride trails. You'll be at a midpoint, get to know guys. Hey, what other trails you ride? Let's start a group. But I think it's harder for guys when they get older. There's just a lot more things going on. Bar, if you're watching a game at a bar, a couple guys are there, get to know, that go there a lot. That's another good way. Neighborhoods. But yeah, it's it's not easy, especially as you get older. But that's what I do. I've met a lot of people, a lot of guys that like to ride bikes, like to do the same things. But then again, it's also challenging if there's not a lot of single guys I know, because a lot of them are married. But it is what it is. Just do it. Just do what you think is what you want to do, and join those groups where other guys are doing it. Rad, when a woman gets divorced, her friends end up getting divorce rabies, and it's more contagious than COVID. It happened to my ex, and I see it all the time. It happened to mine too. Yep. A woman is 75% more likely to consider divorcing her husband if her friend gets divorced. Very well said. Divorce rabies. Isn't divorce illegal in the Philippines? I don't know. I never knew that. I wonder if it is. Majority of India is simping. I know it's sad, but I want it to change so bad. Why is it simping? Is it Bollywood? Is it the influence of reality TV shows? Be curious. I should have used professionals instead of getting married. Looking back now. I think a lot of us have felt that way. Run a business, you'll make good friends. There you go. Well said. Get into business. I have a beta simp friend who wants to marry a woman from the Philippines and bring her to the US. I told him he's nuts. He did that with the Thai woman, and then she divorced him. You can't fix stupid, can you? It happens once and it happens again. Shame on you. Both times. Prajwal, always a biker, wild and free. Good for you. Get out there and do things. Be safe on those Indian streets. My friend went on Columbia Cupid and found out quick it's a bunch of scammers. Men are desperate to find traditional women. Yep. I've heard about Columbia Cupid. I heard it's a scam too. I thought men who use professionals were weak and simpy. Now I just see them as smart. I would agree with that statement. I used to think that, and now I'm like, you know what? Wow. They just avoided some serious train wrecks for those that, go that route. Speaking of gym, about to go on this afternoon run. I'm probably doing a stream later. Peace out. Good to see you. All right, brother. Big to absolute knowledge. Doing a stream. Post it. Why do women get tattoos, especially tramp stamps? I guess I'm too chicken shit to get a needle in my body. I don't have any, and I won't do it. Good for you, Lisa. Never, ever put a tattoo on your body. You are too intelligent for that. Women love attention from tattoos, number one. They love the pain the needle inflicts. It's some sort of connection for them to escape, as a man would escape through a bottle of whiskey. That's why women get addicted to it. It literally cuts. It cuts out feeling. I think a woman with tattoos feels less emotionally and mentally, and it's also a way for them to get attention. I don't like tattoos on women. I find them disgusting. And especially as a woman ages, that ink turns dark and it's just gross. Ugh. Go ask a tattoo artist how many times he's had to redo women's tattoos. You'd be surprised. I talked to a tattoo guy at a bar 6 months ago, and he said these women have no idea what's going on. A man's body can maintain the ink and the tattoo in the skin because the skin's different, but a woman's can't. And they're going to be going back, and they'll eventually regret what they're doing. And he tries to tell them, hey, this ink, it's not going to look like this forever. You gain weight. You go through menopause. You go through perimenopause. You go through all these changes in your body. The ink is going to literally become gross. And still happens. Yeah, do not get any tattoos, Lisa. So many men spend thousands of dollars for some peace leave, but the question is, what thousands of dollars are the females spending on them? Well said, Warren. Do they have you in the house? What does she bring to the table? Is she paying your bills? Nope. Nirupam, in India, women are treated like goddesses. A woman can anytime put a man behind the bars at their will with false allegations. Wow, women's words are taken for granted as truth. That's exactly what the United States is like. Exactly. Be careful, gents. Saludos desde México. Pa'lante como elefante. Que le vaya bien. FJT, years ago, a woman in the Philippines was getting ready to fly here to see me. She bought her own ticket and everything a couple of days before a fight. She disrespected me, so I blocked her. Well, at least she put out the dough. Well, good for you. Look, if she cannot respect you, she does not belong to be in your presence. Good for you, FJT. Peter Parker, I really think prostitution is the future. Better for incels and all the OnlyFans girls who don't earn enough. I don't have a problem with prostitution. I think it's a wonderful transactional model where the man is able to experience intimacy or sexual chemistry with no strings attached. And the woman provides a service in a way that he comes back and she receives her provisions in the form of money. And I think there's also an attention component too. They get so much attention from so many men, but they also know the transaction is perfect if you think about it. No longer does the guy have to get a bride to have his sexual intimacy thinking that every night I'm going to have sex because I'm married. Well, what we know the reality of what happens in a marriage with sex, it tapers off very, very quickly. Nomad John, if my brother tells me to call my mom more and I say, don't tell me what to do, he does it again. Do I ignore, leave the conversation, or something else? Ignore him. You know, you call your mom when you want to call your mom, not when someone tells you to call your mom. I am feeling bad about Indian man. They are supporting the double standards for women. Well, it's all that simp culture. It's all the thirst. They think to be nice and worship a woman is going to get them points. It doesn't. Always backfires. Forget relationships and marriage. Just save and invest money, says John Losada from the Philippines. 100%. Stack your bills. Rad, friend of mine who's marrying a 300-pound woman next fall. I'm going to talk to him again and try to get him out of the beta simp chubby chaser life before she crushes him physically and financially. God. Yeah, some guys never learn. I was living in U.S. for a long time. I see American white women not respond to me for dating on sites after I pick them. I also have good pictures on the site. What do you think the reason is, my friend, says Mr. Professional TV? I think that you are realizing what female culture and female nature is in dating. You'll get swiped and matched, and they will never respond to you. They want attention, and they're getting attention from that. Doesn't matter what you look like. You can be a model. Did you hear about Ben Affleck on that dating site? He was on a dating site and got completely dumped by some no-name broad. Ben Affleck, an actor, he's worth what, 200 million? Batman. And he got dumped by some no-name C-celebrity. Like, he was simping for this gal, and she friggin' cut him off at his knees. It doesn't matter who you are. Women want attention. And a lot of women are on dating sites just to get matches, and that's all they need. They could care less. If they're talking to you for a couple text messages and then quit talking to you, it means he got bored. Another guy. And then it'll happen to the next guy and the next guy. It's just a cycle. A lot of incels don't want to pay for it. A lot of them say, well, why do I have to pay for it? Chad doesn't have to pay. The problem is they got to work on themselves. They got to quit giving power away to other people. And if they learn to keep the power within them, they'd be a lot happier. Right, FJT? I was taught to prepare for the future and invest. Suzanne Fleming. You had good parents. John Boston. False allegations is a billion-dollar industry. A woman who says, I'm not happy, she can kick a man out. But she says, I'm not comfortable and afraid, and boom, the man is gone. All she has to say is she feels uncomfortable. You're out. Cohabitation and marriage is fertile ground for that, guys. Remember that. I told you about my buddy who allowed his girlfriend, she was 52, he's 59, she moved in, and he got kicked out of the own house that his girlfriend was occupying. And then when the house got sold, he had to give her 75% of the house. It was his girlfriend. She wasn't even on the mortgage, the deed. God bless the state of Oregon. But hold on. I really think sex dolls are the only way, at least we can rely on technology for MGTOW brothers. I can start with you say you got, well, whatever makes you happy and gives you peace is, I would agree with. And it doesn't hurt anybody else. I was taught by my mom that you should look women that is of same financial status as you are. Oh, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's because of Indian media, full of simping in Bollywood and soap opera TV shows and you name it. Interesting. Same thing's happening there that it's happening here. When I applied the rules told by my mom, I was able to see the clear image of what things are. Well, she gave you some good advice, Minaj. That's right, Rad. I try to help incels, but they deny all my advice. They shame me and say I'm coping. If you think about it, they assign all of their confidence and external power to others. It could be Chad's, They're upset that Chads don't have to pay for it. They're upset that women don't give them this. They're still giving their power away. And then I was on somebody's channel, and some guy was critiquing men's faces. I thought it was so weird. And they have like certain like labels for the face, like the jawline. Show me the jawline. I'm like, I'm a believer that confidence goes a long way. I mean, you don't, if you look horrible, that's one thing. But I've seen ugly dudes with hot chicks. You tell me how that works. And it's not all about the money. It's confidence, right? We don't want to move to Oregon or, what is it, New Hampshire? I bet Massachusetts doesn't, I heard Massachusetts child support goes to age 26. That's one great thing about Utah. It's only 18 here. The liberal states are the worst states to be in. I heard about it. I think it's the future, but it's going to take time. That story from Rad's friend is scary as fuck. Dude, I'm telling you, he got kicked out of his own house that he invited his girlfriend to live in. And the judge kicked him out because she would not leave when he broke up with her. She actually cheated on him. So what did he do? Put her stuff outside, you know, his suitcase or whatever. She called the authorities. The authorities came, took him away. He was, and then, you know, an immediate court hearing, the judge kicked him out of his own house that his girlfriend of 12 or 16 months was living in. A male judge. And he couldn't go back for 2 years. And he had to get the judge's permission to sell it. And when he sold it, he had to give 75% of the proceeds to her. Remember that, friends. Never cohabitate. The moment she moves in, the less she respects you. Sorry. The loudest are always trolls, but I do believe young men are in a sexual crisis. If it's true, 30% of 20-year-old men today are I think you're right. I read an article about that. Young men are not having sex. This is what I think's happened. Besides the culture, I think video games have weakened men's testosterone. They sit around computers. They become depressed, which also lowers the testosterone. Women do not find that attractive anymore. In fact, they have more potential for estrogen as you sit around. Guys, if you want to have testosterone, you got to move. You got to lift weights. You got to do exercise. You got to do things. You can't be depressed. Depression knocks your testosterone levels real low. So these young men are literally becoming, I wouldn't even call them simps. They're becoming really wimpy kids. So yeah, that's right. There's a percentage. There's plenty of men getting laid without a jawline. Who gives a fuck about your jawline? Yeah, I know. I was listening to this guy. They're grading guys. Like, that's weird. That is weird. Only trashy men approach me in the club is what single moms are complaining about. A-hole trucker. I like that name. Well, I wonder why. Why is a woman in the clubs? Why is a single mom in a club? Just think about that for a second. I was with Bollywood side dancer. She kicked me out. No, the TV soap star hitting on me because of being minked out. I avoid her and made it clear I'm not interested anymore. Good for you. You, Minaj, are leading your life the way you see fit. Women's rights was a mistake in the house. The modern day Fifels has lost her pair bonding from losing her V card at the age of 15 by Chad. Women are having the more difficult time of pair bonding. More and more and more and more and more. Mike E in the house. Good Sunday to you, my friend. Talking about a jawline is insulting. It's downright weird. At this point in my life, I'm okay just having flings and leaving it at that. Not sure I want another LTR. Well, that's smart. Smart of you. James Bruce, exactly. Get your vitamin D, lads. Get out. Get some sunlight. Exercise and control your life. Everything else is an afterthought. My kids play video games. I try to get them off of it. I take them lifting weights with me, working out. I understand video games are part of the culture. I'm not anti-video game. I don't play them. I don't even know how to run a damn controller. There's like 100 buttons. I tried playing basketball with my kid, the NBA 2020 or whatever. I don't even know how to shoot the ball. I'm used to one button and a joystick, like Pac-Man, asteroids. I'm horrible with anything else. And there's like 15 different buttons on these damn controllers. I don't get it, but I also just don't want to look at a screen all day. Now, do some people do it to relieve stress and just, relax? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it consumes you, that's another story. If the gym consumes you, another story. If seeking women consumes you, you have to have balance. So there you go. Yeah. As the woman ages, it's a lot easier for them to put on weight. That's for damn sure. So the emotions, guys, is what controls a woman's brain. The emotions. Remember that. She moves on. She's no longer invested in the emotion with you. She's also had it planned for some time. They're not stupid. FJT, when I was in middle school, girls were giving it up at 12 and 13. Jeez Louise. I remember when I was in 7th grade, this popular gal and this popular dude, the rumor was they had sex at some party or something. And that I remember watching that girl. I remember her on grad night, and she turned into the biggest slut. And I think it's absolutely right. The body count by the time she was a senior had to have been in the dozens. And she was also the gal, I think I spoke about this once. She was a gal that for her 16th birthday, her only desire was to have this stud quarterback that was 2 years older have sex with her. And guess what? She got it. Think about the simping that guy did. So that was all she wanted for her 16th birthday, was to get nailed by this Chad quarterback. I didn't get my first lay until I was 22. Well, that's not bad, I mean, I think that's good. I think if a guy has sex really early, it fucks with his brain. I think that's good. Rad, why do you think women move on so fast after marriage? I think they do, and 2 years later they crash mentally and the reality sets in. It's bizarre because they plan a divorce for at least a year. Yep. They've been planning it. And they move on quick, and then they will 2 to 3 years is when they come back regretting it. That's what I've heard. About 2 to 3 years. More like 3 is when they crash mentally and reality sets in. Yeah, because they go out, they think. My sister was the same way. My sister thought the moment she divorced, she'd have 100 guys lined up to marry her with that had millions and millions of dollars behind their name and 6'4". Guess what? She's still not married 12 years later. And she's been hitting quick tons. My dad just wanted to know if I wrapped it up. Well, good for him. Kay was 18 when she enjoyed her first rendezvous. Well, I think that's solid. That's a good age. At least you weren't 12 or 13, right? Which is happening probably a lot more now. I dated a lady who worked at my Planet Fitness. Biggest mistake ever. Never dip the pen in the company ink. Never works. At least you learn your lesson. Doesn't it depend on who initiates divorce? Like if you want to get out of the marriage and move on to a different woman, you most move on. Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. My ex got married to some guy and I think she was still into me. Must have had doubts, and honestly, I don't think I would take her back. I walked away for that good reason. You're not taking her back. She's that's bathing in dirty water, and she probably does regret it. She probably still thinks about you. How do I tell my friends that women can't actually love? Just say because our brains are different. We logically love unconditionally. Women love emotionally, which is what can you give for them? Provisions, protection, status, attention. Are those solid, tangible ways to love? A man will love unconditionally. I agree, Rad. Young men sit too much at home in front of the computer, but I also understand them. When we were young, cute girls didn't have systematic access to loads of male models like today. Yes. Guys, I was never home on the weekends at 14, 15. I was out skateboarding all night till midnight. Then my dad would kick my ass if I came home late. I was mowing lawns on Saturday. Nobody sat around a TV. There was no such thing as cable television growing up. We had bunny ears. We were out doing things, climbing trees, jumping out of houses being built. It's such a different world. It really messes with brain chemistry the more you sit in front of screens. Now, an interactive thing like this is different because we're talking about real life experience, using technology to help us. Over here, no women regretted after divorce. Instead, they are very, very happy. Yeah, happiness is just a fleeting emotion as well. John Boston, Mike, yes, typically the one who plans it moves on quicker, especially if there's an affair going on, but that relationship typically fails too. I would agree. What goes around comes around. A woman can love. They just love differently. Rad, your sister's story was hella funny. It is. It's the truth. Yeah. Still not married. You know, her boyfriend lives on the East Coast. She lives on the West Coast. They fly to meet each other. How delusional is that? And you know he's hitting other chicks. Darley, I believe there's no good reason for divorce. It should be made illegal. Again, I would agree. Divorce has solved nothing. It's taken more lives of men than probably all the wars combined. This is why I couldn't get into a marriage. I'd be like, if she cheated and let go her own way, whatever, can't put her on a pedestal. No. You can't. John Boston, I would never take my ex back. It's sad because she's the mother of my kids, but now she's for the streets. I would agree with that statement 100%. Do you want to be stuck in a loveless marriage? The risk and rewards of marriage, guys. David knocking at the doors in the house. Teddy Boy Smith, too. My female friend ditched me. She was ruthless, very harsh, and showed no mercy. All the good things I had done meant nothing. I could not reason with her. They're run by their emotions. See, I could not reason with her. That means you wanted to use logic to help pacify the situation. But did that work? No, because she is run by her emotional brain. That's the truth. It is called Alpha Widow Syndrome. Yes, it is. Lyrics in Indian songs of simping. If this reduces tomorrow, if my condition becomes worse, we both separate, but still on the moon, all of the memories, I'll come to meet you. That is simp. If you're afraid to lose her, she has you on your strings like a puppet. Yes, very well said. The black pill incels can't even be happy for each other. A popular incel named Ken finally got a girlfriend, and a lot of the incels turned their back on him. Misery loves company, right, FJT? We hate it when our friends become successful, is basically what happened to that guy. He got a girlfriend. Wow. Do they all go after, are they all trying to get girlfriends, or are they just all bitching about they don't have girlfriends? And do they buy a lot of this crap online from pickup artists? Let me be clear. I do not believe all women are toxic, nor do I. I give them 1% of the population, which Suzanne adequately said 70 million women are good. You never take someone back who has betrayed you. 100%. Never bathe in dirty bathwater. My only regret with my ex is I wish I would have fought harder to keep her. I just wasn't ready for marriage, and I think that really hurt her. You wanted to fight harder. You should have fought harder to keep her. Well, I love the hustle. And if you did get married, I doubt if it would have worked out. Charles DC, I found out today my ex had at least 2 to 3 times more men before a relationship than she pretended. That's not a surprise, Charles. That's not a surprise. K, editorial K, women are as loyal as her options. Most suburban wives are miserable because they settled for their husband. He is not the guy she really wanted. I would agree with that statement 100%. She settled. She wanted the alpha Chad. Chef Boy in the house. I always like that name, Chef Boy. I know a girl, says Kenneth, who has 2 boyfriends at the same time. One boyfriend knows about the other has no idea. That guy has no testosterone, man. Interesting. Harold Jerez, because they don't care for you, they only care for themselves. Well, a woman's going to put herself before you, most likely. I think you're right. If I had married her, I feel like it wouldn't have worked out. You know it wouldn't have worked out, or you'd still be with her. You don't need to fight hard. If she interested, she will wait for more than 10 years. Possibly. The marriage benefits the woman. If she wanted you only for the legal marriage license, that's not a benefit. It's sneaky, conniving behavior. Yes, it is. I gave up trying to find out what incels want. I think they like to complain just because. I think you're right. Red pill moment. Western governments award single mothers with an income and a house for their bad choices. How does this benefit the average citizen? It doesn't. It destroys society. That's what it's doing. It is madness. It's delusion. It's madness. It's chaos. It's literally crumbling society. Mike is still blue pill. He needs daily dose of red ones. I just think there's times when we wanted to, there's nothing wrong with wanting the desire to have a relationship. There's really nothing wrong with that. But the risk and rewards in today's modern dating landscape just does not really provide a return on investment. It's that simple. Good to see you, Kay. Go enjoy your day. Always a pleasure to have you in our chats. Obesity increases estrogen levels in men and women. Well said, Suzanne. Well said. It's turning men into women. Never get into an LTR with a chick that did not grow up with her father in the home, says Kay. I would agree. I've dated a couple gals who didn't have father figures, and they treat the man. They basically take all their anger and frustration out on the new guy in this like weird fatherly role. 100%. I think my problem is that I'm bothered by being alone. Society says you're supposed to be married by my age and have kids. Well, of course. Just accept the fact. There's nothing wrong with your opinion of wanting to be with someone. Who doesn't? I mean, it would be great to have the story of reality that, hey, we are in love with women. We want to grow and create something. We want to share our intimacy with a woman. We want to protect a woman. There's nothing wrong with that. But the reality is it's too risky. And the rewards are minuscule, if any. And that's the hard part. That's the red pill rage. That's the anger. Realizing that story is not the reality anymore. It's just a fantasy. And it knocks us off our game. But if you know that now, you're not going to suffer for going through an LTR with someone that disrespects you or disrespects the relationship or is talking to other guys on her phone while you're sleeping. T-Tox L-Bag, most men are simple, frugal, loyal, and easy to please. Yep. Most women are complex, spendthrifts, opportunistic, and endless bags of need. There's your reasons, brother. I would agree with that, T-Tox, 100%. We're very simple. We're frugal. Guys, go into a department store. 90% of that place is geared towards women, 10% towards men. What does that tell you? Men are minimalizers. We like simple things. A nice sandwich and a beer or a burger makes us happy in a ball game. We don't need to go spend significantly to make ourselves feel better. In fact, most of us don't spend that much. Well said. I feel now it was just my turn, as if I never existed, even after these 10 years, as if I never meant anything to her. Charles, it's not you. It's just what happened. You were just her turn, and her emotions took a different route. That's as simple as that. There's nothing you could do. You couldn't have saved it if you could. You're probably thinking in your head, well, how could I have saved this? You couldn't. No amount of money or attention would have saved it. Going to opt out rad, busy today. We'll catch the full stream later. All right, brother, you enjoy your Sunday. Respect to you. If she really was a unicorn, she would have understood why you wanted to wait. Think about it. Yep. You have to find your purpose, and that purpose isn't a woman. Your purpose is your central, is what's centered to you. Never, ever put a woman center. And that was the mistake we all made. The Bible says no man should be alone and should have a woman as our helpmate, but it's not going to happen with modern women. Read Paul in the Corinthians. He talks about married men stay married, single men stay single. But we're not meant to be alone. No, I would agree with that statement. But being alone today is probably safer for most men. My married female work colleague says she misses me and wants hugs and cuddles. Is she just attention seeking? Maybe not. Yes, she is looking for attention from somebody else. All you are is a utility in her mind if you give in. Teddy boy. K, no man should get married before the age of 35. Stack money, travel the world, learn different languages, level up. Well said. That right there is a man going his own way. I'm a Buddhist, not a Christian. Buddhism is wonderful. Great tenets of Buddhism. Buddhism talks about we are one with everything. That to desire is to lack. To be content with nothing. And to accept. You know, a lot of the Buddhist stuff I've read is all about acceptance. Accept reality. You can't fight it. Alan Watts, the great philosopher in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, said to give up control is to gain control, which is another Buddhist concept. Suzanne, I am a minimalist and very frugal one. Very rare for a woman to say that. Terrific. Or to be that, actually. There was a few local barflies in my town who rode the CC for 20 years and got HIV. One died from full-blown AIDS. Damn. You never hear about AIDS anymore, you know what I mean? But shit. Be careful, guys. I have been hit on by MILFs and bars before, but honestly, most of them didn't really seem attractive to me. If you take that situation, a MILF in a bar, you know, women didn't go to bars years ago. It was a very different, it was majority men. Now it's 60% women, 40. Go to a bar, check it out. You know, that wasn't a place for women to go, you know, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. I mean, go to clubs that served beer, but at a specific bar, that was a more man place. A saloon? Who were in the saloons in the cowboy times? Right? Heavy Metal Thunder's in the house. Good to have you. Rad, how you doing? Darlin Pena, good to have you. What do you think about the new study that proves men are rather choosing video games instead of chasing women? I think it's true. But I don't think it's healthy. I mean, I don't think you should play, video games all day. I don't think it's good for your physical. But yeah, men are opting out of chasing women because the reality of being in a relationship with a woman is slim to none. It's difficult. So I can see why they're doing that. And women are becoming gamers, I hear, as well. I would think being Buddhist would be easier to be alone. Says don't quit, persevere. Well, being alone and lonely are two separate things. I'm alone right now talking to you guys. I've been alone. I was alone last night, but I'm not lonely. I know what to do and go out, enjoy life on my own terms. You know, good for your frugality, Suzanne. Most females are not. No, they're not. Western retail depends on a woman's spending. God, the whole environment of retail would just cripple if women didn't spend. Everything would be out of business. A man uses the same hat for 10 years. You know, he doesn't need to buy a new hat. Same pair of jeans for 15 years. A woman needs a new pair of jeans every other week. Lisa Smith, don't fall for that nonsense from your female coworker. Sadly, all she has to do is file a complaint with AR after you give her a hug. Watch out. You're right, Lisa, 100%. Be very, very careful. Let's see. I think Suzanne's retired. Video games are not good for your health. They will exacerbate conditions like epilepsy. Well said. A juice bar would be where Jen Nam, yes, or a coffee shop. But I don't think a bar for a woman is the right place. That'd be like a man going to a nail salon to have wine. Just doesn't make any sense. And most bar chicks, come on, let's be real. Mysterio's in the house. He's back. Good to have you. Is there a difference between attraction and arousal? I think arousal is purely sexual. Attraction is attracted to their mental, physical, and emotional charm. And arousal is looking at their breasts or their ass. MGTOW Wiki says it's misogynistic. We are not. We are not just liking what they can offer. MGTOW Wiki says it's misogynistic. No, well, whoever wrote that's stupid. Men going their own way has nothing to do about hating women. It's going your own way and navigating life with women in it. It depends on how much you want to put women in your life. Dating, not dating, what you do, what you talk to, and so forth. But yeah, I don't agree. I'm not misogynist. I consider myself a man going his own way. I'm misogynistic towards feminists. They are different things. Women's rights was a mistake. I don't think they were a mistake. I just think that giving the one woman the right to vote, I don't have a problem with that. I just think what the direction we've, a lot of people can say, feminism started by giving them the right to vote, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? Eventually they would have gotten the right to vote, whether it was in 1930 or, it was 1897? I can't remember. But they would eventually, it's as simple as that. Now women are bodybuilders that put on huge muscles like men. Whatever. My wallet, my choice. Good evening to you. Good to have you. In my opinion, our government created feminism to target black people first, then second Hispanics, and third white people. I don't disagree with that statement. I really don't. Well said. I don't think women's right was all a mistake. They should be allowed to vote. Leave their traditional gender roles. Yes. Leave them. Yes. Keep your gender roles. Be part of the solution, not the problem. Be part of the maintaining of the family unit, not the destruction of it, right? How do you avoid catching feelings for a woman? Know that at night when she takes her makeup off and when her next emotional hurricane is only 10 minutes away, that you will be in the crosswinds. You have to think logically. You can't get pitter-patter over the fact that she's into you and sending you lots of texts. She might be sending those same texts to another guy. And the next day, you might not even hear from her. Just, if you're with a gal and you like her, just enjoy the moment. That's all I can tell you. Don't look to the future. Don't look to the past. Just enjoy being with her. And if nothing, and just realize she's not yours. It's just your turn. And if you understand that, it'll be all right. You just want to avoid toxic people. Yes, we do. It's not funny. How's the house doing? Good to have you, brother. Why does it seem to me that women have more suitors than men? Because that is the nature of reality in today's world, Mysterio. They have 500 orbiters. You have 0 or 1. That's typically men. What worked for me was finding another woman to catch feelings for. Well, there you go. Yeah. What do they say? To get over someone is to get under one. Feminism has become toxic, says Suzanne. I would agree. 2 mice are sitting in a bar having a beer. First mouse says, are you going to get the COVID vaccine? Second mouse says, hell no, they haven't finished testing it on humans yet. Oh, that's good. I got to use that, bada bing. That might be true in the U.S. Travel to Eastern Asia like Japan, China, South Korea, Vietnam. There are more desirable men than women, especially if you're a tall white man. Well, there you go, tall white men. Go to Vietnam. Marriage is outdated now. Will it be here 200 years from now? I think some form of it will, but if guys are opting out and the boys of those guys opting out, they're probably going to see that out. I don't know. I think it's just obsolete now, right? Mysterio. Fernando, good afternoon to you. Sound engineer making an appearance all the way from Eastern Europe. Good to have you. Life is going well today. Marriage will be here because it's a business, says don't quit, persevere. I think he's right. I think it'll just be different. I think the reality of open marriages will be big and it'll be accepted. Feminism will be illegal in heaven. Feminism is a sin. David knocking at the door. I would agree with that statement 100%. In an LTR, would you accept your woman being on social media? I think a woman on social media is still seeking attention. It'd be really hard to maintain a woman if she's on social media and always posting. Nothing you could bring to the table would be different. I mean, all the attention she got on social media would never equal the attention you gave her. It would always be greater. If you love Dirty Hard Guitar, check out Earthless. Oh, I will. Oh, guess what I've been listening to lately? Michael Grant and the Assassins. Check him out. He was the guitarist for LA Guns, and he formed his own band. Red Light Run is his single right now. Michael Grant and the Assassins. And I think he plays all of his own instruments. I think he's pretty talented. And I was listening to Dirty Honey yesterday too, Mysterio. Is it true that in USSR cars drive you? I'd like to know that. I haven't heard about Miktowski for a long time. Where is he? I don't know where Miktowski is. Maybe he's taking a break from YouTube. I haven't seen his comments either. Is it true that most women are disloyal in their friendships, or are there still good women in the matter of friendships? Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I just think a woman seeks attention if she's in a relationship or a friendship. How's that? And the moment you don't give attention anymore, she's seeking it elsewhere. I think relationships are one-sided. Whether it be a friendship or a marriage or whatnot. So that's where we sit. That's where we're at. That's why it's hard for men when women move on so quickly. Their emotional brain is the reason, and they've been planning it in the future or the past for so long. There's nothing you could have done to save it. The old adage, it's just your turn. She's not yours. It's just your turn. All women are good until you are a good choice for her. Look at that. Look at those powerful words. All women are good until you are a good choice for her. Shit, does that make sense? All women are good until you are a good choice. You're a good dude. Now she doesn't want you. You want to be a provider and protector. Now she doesn't want you because she wants Chad. She wants the bad boy. The moment you become a good choice, she doesn't respect you anymore. Well said, sound engineer. Do you think that men seek dopamine as well? We do. Absolutely. It's different. We don't need the attention of other people. Our dopamine's different. Maybe it's doing something in the gym. Maybe it's my kids get dopamine off video games. They get dopamine off, making a certain amount of income or passing a goal. So yeah, there is some sort of dopamine that we enjoy as well. It's a reward system in our biology. Dude, all women are good if you are a good choice for her. Yep. Very well said. Relationship for women is benefit seeking, whether friendship or marriage. Yeah, I would agree. It benefits the woman. In a matter of friendship only, if question of rational women, I refer. Now, I think that there will be a little bit more logic within a female-male friendship, but the female and males, number one, can't be friends. Number two, if you're not romantically involved, she really can't control you and use a ton of emotion, so she might have to tone down her emotional state, but there's still irrationality within friendships. I got a friend that's a gal. We hang out. We every now and again have tacos together, and she's as irrational as they come. There's no way in hell I touch her with a 10-foot pole. But I enjoy her company. We have some good discussions. But she's horrible with men. She's horrible with relationships. She's constantly monkey branching. She's constantly, literally has hurricanes 10 times a day. There was a time when I just wouldn't talk to her because she was such a fucking shit show. So, hold on. Official CPA, what do you think about the Kwame Brown videos and him promoting masculinity? I love it too. Guys are waking up. They're waking up. Teddy boy, women like you for what you offer them, not for the person you are. 100%. They like what you can provide. You should check out a channel called Big Tout Moments. I'll check it out. How we doing, guys? England calling in. Carl from across the pond, just on the woman's loyalty to other women. My ex tried to run off with our neighbor, her now ex-friend's husband. It failed her best friend and tried to hit on me. Jeez. Can you believe that? No surprise. No surprise. Define loving opportunistically. They love the opportunities you can provide them, which is status, resources, protection, and attention. So if those opportunities exist, she will love you for those, not for your heart. Can a person that has kids already, can they become an incel again? Sure. Depends on how much power they give to a woman or to an external. I think it'd be kind of hard because they've already had it. Isn't an incel? I always thought an incel was someone that never had the opportunity to lie with a woman. But maybe, I guess you could become a born again incel, right? Why does it seem like women who care about a man, the man doesn't give a crap about them in the same way for a man who cares about his woman? I just think it's relationship dynamics. A woman, the more attention you give to a woman, the less she gives you your attention. The less attention you give to a woman, the more she gives to you. The more you care, the less she cares. The less you care, the more she cares. It's all weighted differently. He who pulls away, the other will push, or she who pulls away. If you push, they pull. If you pull, they push. There is a lot of Crimson Capsule content out there without one having to seek it. It's coming my way. I don't have to search it out as much. Good. Take your red pills daily. Men marry for sex. Women marry for money. Men end up without sex. Women end up with all the money. Damn right. I feel like a rage after discovering these things about my ex. Now I understand why she's on Tinder now. You're going through red pill rage. You're awakening to the idea that female nature is real. That she monkey branched and went with the new guy. And you have to accept that. Every one of these men, most men have gone through exactly that. And it's rage. You get mad. You tried to fix it. You tried to love her. You tried to show everything. Just work it out through exercise, lifting weights, watching these channels. Not always true. My uncle cleaned out my ex-wife after he turned gay and got divorced. Huh. Did he turn gay after he married her? Or was he always gay? So, guys, it's been great. Remember, stay safe, right? Understand that you got to guard your heart. Self-improvement is where it's at, Mysterio. Put a woman on a pedestal, you'll regret it. Treat her like a celebrity, she'll treat you like a fan. 2 or 3 of the single moms up my school who know my wife and no problem trying to lure me in, they are like hyenas around fresh meat when the next minute they are out with my ex-wife and kids. Par for the course, guys. Men only want to be friends with women who they are attracted to, and it never works, especially with married or LTR women. You will always end up disappointed, trust me. 100%. 100%. This has been a great stream, you guys. Masculinity. Men first. Chase excellence. I'm out.